And we're live. Live.
Hooray.
And lied. We lied as
We're
well.
lid. We're lid. We are lid.
We're lit?
We're lit, fam.
So lit. Super lit.
That's what
Literally
the
on
kids say, right?
When they do their like ollies and shit. Yeah.
Ollies. Who does ollies anymore?
Yeah, it's all about taking your car off a sick ass ramp.
Yeah.
I mean, that'll be eternal forever.
Yeah, very true.
How have you guys been? How's your week been?
All right. Been pretty nondescript otherwise, I guess. We're getting ready for our charity marathon next week, so starting to like ease off on streaming for a little bit to get ready for that. Got to do some recording tomorrow, which is gonna be interesting.
Cool.
Okay.
Let me tell you about Tiger King and that wild ride. I'm not actually going to tell you about it because you guys should watch it at some point, and like I won't do it.
I was gonna say, can you tell me why literally everyone is talking about this suddenly?
Yeah, because this looks like just a terrible like dude that likes big cats or whatever from the little trailer thing that plays on Netflix. And what it actually is the story of a polygamous gay gun-toting hillbilly that runs his own zoo and gets into this weird conspiracy for murder. It's
my girlfriend
crazy.
watched the whole thing. She was pretty into it.
It's fucking crazy. And like, man, the fact that that's all real life, I hate every single person in that thing. Holy shit, they are all characters and they are all fucking terrible. Jesus Christ, that thing. I don't want to ruin parts of it, but it gets like, it introduces, the main guy is Joe Exotic, and if you recognize that name, it's because he was arrested for trying to kill a person named Carol, and there's a whole rabbit hole with her as well, involving her first husband years and years ago, and then there's another dude named Doc something or whatever, I can't remember his name, but he
Doc
also
back.
he also has like a whole weird like cult of personality thing going on with him, and apparently he was raided by the FBI after filming. There's a little note about that. This thing is fucking weird. Holy shit.
Holy crap.
Yeah. Also, there's not a whole lot else that I wanted to watch that's new, so it just came at the perfect time where it's just like, oh, this is like a 6 or 7 episode, 40 minutes each episode. This is fine. This is like a 5-hour Sunday thing that we'll dive into. I recommend it, but I could understand if you watch a couple episodes and you're like, I actually hate this. I would totally get that, because man, there's nothing fun about where that thing goes, and everybody in it is fucking deplorable. Holy shit. That's
I remember hearing about Joe Exotic on Last Week Tonight, like months ago.
Yeah.
Like he brought it up months ago on the show, so it was just suddenly weird hearing everyone talk about him like now. I was like, what the hell happened that brought this up? And then I heard about the series.
And it's just one of those weird things where the people filming him were filming him for other reasons, like starting like I think 6 or 7 years ago, and they just kept filming up until like he got arrested this year, because there was just always something new to catch this fucker doing. He tried running for office at some point. Like, it's crazy where the shit goes. It's fucking nuts. If you've ever heard of Florida Man, where like Florida Man does this and Florida Man does that meme, he is literally Florida Man. It's weird. He is a weird dude, and yeah, that was a fun watch, honestly. They're updating it with a new episode soon too. They recorded another episode and they're patching it in at some point. Yeah.
Weird. Netflix is getting patches now. All right.
I guess so, yeah. So, yeah. And it makes sense, because there's like 4 or 5 main people in this story of what's going on, and they all have just like an ongoing suspicious aura about them. I'm sure we're going to hear about every single one of these people like in the next few months or whatever. Like, there's always going to be something. It's fucked up. That's been my week. I'm so into it. It's ridiculous.
Right on. I rewatched the first Matrix on the weekend.
Okay.
Oh, how's that hold up?
was gonna say, I think it holds up pretty well.
Yeah.
The reason we did it is, my girlfriend's never seen any of the Matrix movies.
Right.
Okay. So
And-
you showed her the only one.
Yeah.
As hard as I tried, she found out that there's more.
God
And
damn.
wants to watch them, and I don't know
They're-
what to do with.
They're
that.
honestly not
Like,
that bad. I think we give them
I
more
don't-
shit than it's
Yeah,
worth.
no.
They're just forgettable.
Yeah.
I
That's
don't
the
know,
thing.
because I definitely remember some parts from 2 and 3 that are real bad and super dumb.
Yeah.
Oh no, there's plenty. There's plenty of dumb parts of 2 and 3. But like it was all at that point they were literally like they had finished the story and we're just like, all right, where do we go from here? Like I guess let's just make it crazier.
And like, where do they go with the next one? That's what I'm curious about.
Yeah, so that's like the big thing with like 4 coming out,
Yeah.
and everyone's just kind of on a Keanu high. So she was
Sure.
like, "Oh man, I really want to see 4. Keanu's great. Let's watch the other ones." And I'm like, "We should really only watch the first one."
movie's
but with her
good.
enjoying that, she wants to watch the others. So I guess I'll find out firsthand soon enough how those other 2 hold up.
I think there's gonna be scenes that will still hold up, but then there's
Yeah.
gonna be a lot of stuff like, man, they really just ruined all the good faith they had on that first one.
Yeah, that's how I remember it for the most part.
I just remember the freeway and the twins from Reloaded and Revolution. I
Yeah.
only literally remembered like a million Agent Smiths and like nothing
Yeah,
else.
like when I think back, I think of like what parts do I remember? There's the huge rave at Zion.
Right, the weird sexy
Yeah,
rave.
There's
Yep.
like the car chase sequence with the twins, which that's like the one good
the
part from
freeway
2.
scene. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like that and that's all I can remember from 2. And then 3, all I can remember is the final battle and like what happens to Neo.
Yeah.
That's
Pretty
like,
much.
that's it.
And then the very, very end with what's his name and the lady in the park. Like I remember
yeah.
that.
Oh, I had forgotten
That's-
about that. Yeah.
because that I was
we'll
thinking
see.
about that. It's like they ended it like so well. Why do they go back to it? Like, how are they going to do this? I'm really curious what they're doing. So we'll see.
Well, also with how 3 ends, like, and Keanu Reeves is in 4, I'm confused how that works. But
And
Yeah.
Trinity, right? Carrie Ann Moss, I think is. as
yeah,
well.
yeah.
That's
It was
yeah.
it was awesome seeing those 2 because it was like, wow, look how young these 2 people look, especially Carrie Ann Moss, because I feel like Keanu Reeves just doesn't age anymore.
Sure.
Like he's
Yeah.
faced in that one, but once he like grew out his like the beard and hair, it's like he just stayed at like 40
That
or whatever.
age.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like he's just
True.
locked there. Carrie Ann Moss looks significantly different than she did in the first Matrix, but
For
yeah,
sure.
it still holds up. Like it's still fine, except the soundtrack. That was the thing that stuck out the most. Like, of course, a lot of the special effects is like, wow, this is some pretty bad CGI. And actually, some of the CGI was better than I expected it to be with how old that movie is. But yeah, some of the soundtrack is just the dumbest, like 90s ass
Techno.
like,
How
hi-
dare
yeah,
you talk
hip-hop,
about Rage and
techno.
Prodigy like that? How dare you?
Well, Rage's only at the
so-
very end though.
I think there's Bulls
Yeah.
on Parade at some point too, right? Wake Up and Bulls
No,
on Parade.
that's Wake Up is the end of the first
the end
movie. I
one.
think Bulls on
Yeah.
Parade is the second. Each
Oh,
each
maybe.
movie ended with a Rage song. Each movie ended with a Rage
Okay,
song.
that's
The one
probably
that stuck
the
out the
same
most,
one.
I don't know what song it was, but it's the scene where they're coming back to save Morpheus and they're doing the gunfight in the lobby.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, no, that's a famous song. Yeah.
That song is more 90s than anything I could think of. And we were just like watching this and going like, what is going on? You would never see this in the last decade. Like it is the craziest like pairing of 2 things ever. So yeah, the soundtrack definitely stood out as like this is aging this movie poorly. The rest of it though, yeah, I think it still holds up. That's still a good movie.
I'm trying
A
to
lot of
find what
shootout
song
music
it
is called Spy Break by Propellerheads.
That sounds like a 90s ass song name and a 90s ass band.
Oh
Oh,
yeah,
Alice, that
this
could be an
song.
80s
Yeah,
band.
yeah. Okay.
Like it totally doesn't fit. Like it's so weird. Anyway,
Matrix is classic cyberpunk. It's just entered that realm. That's always going to be good. Even as dated as it is, that adds to it.
Yeah, I had forgotten about like how long into the movie it takes for them to get into the Matrix.
Yeah.
Because like a lot of like at least half an hour at the beginning of that movie is like getting Neo out and then like explain and like just being outside of it. And I
Yeah.
had forgotten almost all of the outside of it stuff.
Yeah, that's fair.
So yeah, like so my girlfriend kept turning to me. She's like, I thought this was like an action movie. This is gross so far with these humans. Like, and I'm like,
Yeah.
it is an action movie. Like I remember it as an action movie. I had forgotten
Yeah.
how long it takes them to actually get into the Matrix.
Because he has to learn how to use his powers and stuff. Yeah.
But even before that, even like before he is like goes down to learn his powers, they spend a lot of time just explaining the world and what happened to the world and stuff, which I had forgotten.
Yeah.
Obviously, because it's not like the big exciting stuff. But
The whole
yeah, all three of
fall
those
the
movies got
river.
added to Netflix in the last week, which kind of
nice.
jumped us to do that. Yeah, so we're gonna go through that.
Cool.
I've also started watching the Twilight Zone, the remake from 2018.
Okay. How's that?
I think it was 2018. I had kind of watched all of the recap videos that GameSpot made when those had come up. So I basically know everything, but I never had access to CBS All Access. So I hadn't watched it. And I was always like, man, I really want to watch this, but I'm not going to just, pay
Buy
for a
the
month and try
service
and
for
get
it.
through it. Really, yeah, exactly.
Sure. Yeah.
But right now they have a promotion where their free trial got extended to be 30 days instead of just like a week. And I was like, I can watch it in 30 days. Let's do that.
Sure.
So yeah, I'm gonna go through the Twilight Zone, and I won't watch the first episode, but I'm enjoying it. But I kind of know I'm gonna enjoy it since I know what every episode is.
Yeah.
So there, yeah, it's a weird way to watch something for sure.
Cool.
But that's about it. If that's it for everyone else, let's talk about some video games because this is the top-down perspective for April 9th. Paul, you've been playing the most. Why don't you start us off?
All right, Sean Booker. I, Paul Fleck, will tell you.
I'm John Wheeler.
Will tell you what
All
I've
right.
been playing.
Thank you.
Sorry, you threw me off a little bit. I was about to take a sip from my drink, and then you started. I was like, oh shit. So it was Resident Evil week. Resident Evil 3 / Resistance came out, and
All right.
that is a $60 product. They said Resistance was a free pack-in with Resident Evil 3. That is a 20/40 at best split because Resident Evil 3 is not a full price game. That is a lot of reused assets and it's extremely short. It's very good,
Oh, wow.
but
okay.
it is extremely short.
So it is literally Resident Evil 3.
Well, they cut out two parts of the original Resident Evil 3 in this that are
Really?
like two whole areas. The clock tower and the park don't exist at all.
Weird. So they made a
and-
shorter game even shorter.
They made a short game shorter for sure. And they kind of expect you to play through it once at least to unlock the like
I would hope so.
the like Resident Evil version, like real version where like zombies change like their positions.
The way
and
real gamers play it.
honestly, like to make it feel more survival horror-y and less action-y because you aren't like overpowered as hell. Like the harder difficulty definitely is like you want the challenge of not having enough ammo and having to like dodge zombies and do that sort of thing. Where even like the hard, there's two modes when you start the game. There's like normal and hardcore, and hardcore mode is like still a joke, honestly, because this really is kind of more of an action game than it is anything else. And then nightmare mode makes it more survival horror-y, where you have to ration your stuff and know what to take and when and blah blah blah. And then there's an Inferno mode, which is just like, we're gonna fuck you up over and over and over. Everything's just faster, including Nemesis, and it's kind of funny, but not really at the same time. Like, just watch a video of Nemesis on Inferno mode. He's hilarious. He just runs around real quick. Like, they sped up the tape or something, and it's just absolutely astonishingly bad. But it's meant to be unfair for people that want a bigger challenge or whatever. It's kind of lazy that way also, where that's like the replayability is just making things one shot you and making them really hard to dodge and stuff. I don't know. There's a lot of really lazy things in it. You can tell that they hadn't really went out, like with Resident Evil 2 Remake, they really wanted to build that thing from the ground up. Resident Evil 3 seemed kind of like the fans want this. We have enough assets that we could probably push this out in a year, which they did. And it feels that way for sure. Resident Evil Resistance, their multiplayer thing, is definitely probably worth like $20 to $30 by itself. So having the 2 games for the full price is kind of fine. The problem with that game is that matchmaking is terrible, and I'm sure it's going to die very, very quick. People aren't going to be playing that soon, which sucks because I really quite enjoy that game. That's the asymmetrical 4v1 game where the survivors are in like a little playhouse, basically.
The ball, yeah, I played this.
Kind of like a little funhouse that a mastermind is like the other player sets up, and they set up different obstacles like monsters and stuff to try to kill them or take them out before they get out, or before or like push their timer to 0, because there's a time limit that keeps going up based on like whatever things that they accomplish, objectives or whatever. And it's usually like find the pieces to open the door, and then another one is like find the security zombie with the card and then use that card to like take down these security locks. And then the final one is usually just destroy the like bioweapon tanks and then escape. I don't know. It's hard to talk about unless you've seen it. It's kind of like the Mastermind game is kind of like a card game that you go jump between the cameras, and then you have to use like your economy to play cards that spawn different creatures, and you can take over the creatures to like attack them yourself, or like set up little turrets or traps or whatever. So that's kind of cool. The problem is it takes half an hour to get a fucking game. Thing. Kind of, against like other players. Yeah. It's like a super original idea, and it's really cool, but it takes like fucking 20 minutes to find a game. So I've been just trying to get my Mastermind ranked up at night when I'm watching like YouTube or streams, and just having it like look for a game in the background while I'm doing other stuff. And that sucks, because I would really like to just be able to play it. But finding a Survivor game takes about 1 to 5 minutes, depending the time of day you're playing, which isn't too bad. But the fact that this is only a week old and it can take up to 5 minutes to find a game as like the Survivors is pretty terrible. This thing's probably gonna die, and that's really too bad, basically. Is what
I doubt any Resident Evil fans are picking up 3 to play the multiplayer.
Well, this is the problem, is that you can't buy them separately. So even like if I had friends that are like, this sounds like a kind of cool thing, you would have to buy a $60 product that you're not going to play for this quote-unquote free pack-in or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, so that kind of sucks. That's why it's going to die, basically. But whatever. I had my time with both games so far, and I've been enjoying it. I would just wish I could get games quicker in Resistance.
Back to 3 for a sec, though.
Yeah.
And I may have missed it when I stepped away for a second. Are you liking it? Because it seems people are kind of down on it.
Yeah, no, it's very, very good. It's just very, very short. You have to consider this as like a $30 game with another $30 game packed in, because for like a $60 product, it's rough. Like if you don't like Resistance, that's a hard buy, and that's a thing you should wait for a sale for
How would you like compare it though, if you're looking at kind of the last few that have come out that have been like bangers, what with like 7 and 2, this is 3. Would this be the lowest?
This is definitely the lowest, because it feels like it wasn't like a project they wanted to plan for to begin with. It seems like something that they tacked on, like an expansion or something.
Right. Yeah, that was another sentiment I kind of heard, was kind of with the quick, I don't want to say quick turnaround, but the short time between 2 coming out, like less than a year ago, basically, or I guess just over a year, because that was February, right?
That was last year, yeah, the end of January or beginning of February.
I wonder if they kind of like tried to fast track this.
They did.
Because of
they
the
100% did. Yeah, they 100% did. So one whole part is like the RPD, which makes sense because that's the same as originally, and like that's one of the like main parts of that. So they didn't have to redo any assets there. All of the zombie models are the exact same from 2, so they didn't have to redo any enemy models there. They did do some new enemies that like were only in 3, and that's fine. But like one of those enemies is only in one part of the game. They're like, it just really feels like a project that maybe when they went gold on Remake, they were or RE2 Remake, they were like, I wonder how much of this other thing we could like do, and then they were just like, holy shit, we got like half of this other game done basically. Let's keep working on it.
You think it was just an experiment that they just kind of turned into a product, basically?
I think so. Or like maybe they maybe when they did it, they were like, we could probably do this, and they pushed for it, and like it was a little bit planned, but it definitely wasn't the type of planning that went into Resident Evil 2 Remake, where I'm sure there were a lot of meetings and like shareholder stuff or whatever. I'm sure this was like a, hey, we have some extra money, why don't we make a push for this, and like I'll call up the shareholders, and they're like, yeah, that sounds good, or whatever. Like,
I mean, my guess would probably be like, you know, they're having talks about remaking everything, because I'm sure every single company is.
sure,
They went with 2, right? And then when they saw that success, they're like, oh, we need to capitalize on this right now while the, you know, fire's hot.
sure,
Let's try and get exactly what we did before. We'll try and hit the same release date. Like, let's just try and get 2 of these.
sure.
We'll just do it again.
Yeah. And like they have they had a survey out a few days ago that was literally, hey, do you want to see more remakes, or should we do Resident Evil 8? Vote now. And like there was like the option to remake like 4, 5, 1, or Resident Evil 8, like release 8.
You know what? I bet they're going to do all of them.
Yeah, probably.
Before I die.
Well, yeah, probably. That's fair.
So, regardless of what you voted on, I bet you're getting them all.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And 2 again. I bet 2 is going to happen again.
So I think like a big thing with this game is if they are going to do, well, even if they don't redo 4, they did tie in the idea of like how 4 could exist a little bit better. Like they retroactively, they knew where the story went, obviously, because this is a remake, and they were able to tie in little things. Like they talked about Umbrella Europe in this at some point, so now we know that Umbrella isn't just an American company in Raccoon City. They kind of opened it up a little more globally. They talked about the use of parasites, which directly ties into what 4 and 5 are, and et cetera, et cetera. So they do their best to like make a lore sort of thing, like kind of tie some ends in here. And I think they wanted to like ease into the transition of Resident Evil becoming an action focused game, which it kind of does anyway. And it always kind of did at 3. And this game is like 100% action. It is off the wall, like kind of crazy in some parts, but not as much as like it gets, obviously, because Jesus Christ, it gets fucking weird, that series.
So like as a like non Resident Evil fan, or you know, just someone who hasn't really like played them, I'm standing on the outside. This just sounds like a disappointment.
This isn't made for you. It isn't made for you.
Well, no. So I mean, like my point here is like, you know, kind of seeing the list of like,
yeah,
you know, they rushed it, they cut stuff, they reused things. That to me just kind of sounds boilerplate, like a disappointment.
Kinda lazy.
So I'm wondering, what are you getting out of it? And then as a kind of a sub question, how much do you think is just nostalgia / your love of Resident Evil fueling this?
It's all nostalgia. Why would it be anything else? This was made for me. This was made for people like me that are okay paying $60 to see how they retell this story and do certain points again. This isn't made for you, for like people that are on the outside that don't care. Resident Evil 2 Remake is a little bit for you. This isn't. That's just the way it is. This is for people that like are willing to spend that money for like a 2-hour
But that's kind of
thing.
that's kind of a crazy thing to say, though, considering they're trying to get people back in the series, right?
Right.
Yeah,
I'm making the assumption, just widespread across games, for the most part, people are always trying to get new audience in there.
Sure. Yeah.
So I would actually make the argument that at some point it is kind of for me as well. Like I'm sure they're trying to get both, right? They want both of our $60.
Sure. But what I'm saying is, as a consumer, I don't know why you would buy this if you didn't care about 2. Just even as a starting point. And even if you're like kind of into 2, I still kind of don't know why you would buy this product unless you were really into seeing how they redid 3. I think a lot of people bought this game to like get into 3, when this seemed like a product that's like, no, you have to have somewhat cared and seen how they did some things, because it's too short otherwise. Like, if you're just an outsider, this isn't worth your time and money, and I'm not going to pretend it is. It isn't.
Right on.
Wait for a sale.
That's kind of what it. Yeah, that's kind of what it is sounding like. Because
yep.
All right.
It almost seems like it. You know, I think their best scenario is like someone heard so much about 2. Well, they kind of missed the boat on 2. Maybe I'll just jump on this next one.
That's a disappointment waiting to happen. That's no good.
Just go back and play 2.
Yeah, go back and play 2 first, and then if you're into it, maybe consider it. Just know that you like. So my first time through this, I spent 5.5 hours, and I was looking at everything and dying quite a bit. Like, it's very short. To get an S rank, the like qualifications are to beat it under an hour and a half on like every difficulty, and you can easily do that.
Damn.
Yeah.
Not to get super into it, since it was just like super rumored, but it's the same topic. Did you guys see the Resident Evil 8 kind of rumor stuff?
The like
from the last
werewolf
week?
Stuff or whatever.
Yeah. Did you guys read that?
The village thing.
Yeah.
Oh, the village thing.
Yeah. Well, it was the kind of the same thing. There was like a list of some rumors. Do you guys have any thoughts you wanted to share on those?
Not until it's confirmed. That rumor's been going around for like 6 months now. Like, that's been out for a long time. So not until Capcom actually says something.
Paul, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
As someone who loves the classic Resident Evil series, but never beat 3 or never played through 3, is it worth my time to play Remake 3?
So it's weird because I know you don't like you have so many games in your backlog. You could get this done in a day, if that's like anything that you want to think about. Is just like, it's good. It's a very, very good game, and it's not going to waste your time at all. So there is that. Okay. So for you specifically, I would think that might be a plus.
Okay.
Well, it also sounds like, did you play through 2 last year?
I never played through Remake 2, but I played through the original.
Oh, well, maybe you should play Remake 2. It sounds like that's just a better game if you're going to do some Resident Evil time. If you're going to have yourself a Resident Evil Saturday trademark, sounds like 2 Remake is the way to go.
So the length of
but like,
this game is a little bit shorter than the length of one of the campaigns in Resident Evil 2 Remake, for just like a kind of idea. That's why they want you to play through it twice, and why it has kind of like that old PlayStation arranged type mode where the harder difficulty changes where monsters are and items and stuff like that. So they kind of try to give you a double experience, but they don't. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. So all that being said, this is like, that was people listening to this that don't know if they want it or not. The game's fucking awesome. I really, really like it. Like, I enjoyed my time with it. I thought all of the cutscenes and stuff were very cool. I thought Nemesis just being there all the fucking time, like right from the very beginning, is fucking cool. The way they kind of like did some of the weird enemies that 3 tried, and like how they made them make sense in this was fucking weird. Like the Gamma Hunters in the sewers were fucking gross and like unsettling the first time you see them. Nemesis is a motherfucker to fight every time. Every single fucking time you fight him, he's just a piece of shit, and it's kind of great, but also annoying. So you really feel at the end like, yes, just fucking murder this thing already. Fuck. And you do in like the best fucking way ever. I don't know. There's so many things about this that, like, if you're a fan of 3, it's so good. It is so fucking good. But yeah, I don't know. I also really, really like Resistance. I'm just mad that thing's probably gonna die in the next like week or two. This will be the big one. If I can find a game after Final Fantasy VII is officially out for everybody, like, then it'll probably be okay for a little bit. But this weekend, I'm expecting I'm never gonna find a game in that, and I'll never find a lobby in that game again. I'm just gonna quickly move on because I don't want to keep talking about this, and I could forever. I played Valorant, that shooter by Riot, that's in beta right now.
How is that?
Here, it's real popular on Twitch.
Yeah, it broke some records apparently.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair though, I feel like every 2 months something breaks.
There's a new record for sure.
You know what I mean? Like that
And
just keeps happening.
it's honestly kind of primed too, with people being quarantined and sit up at home and stuff. So it's like definitely a good time to break records for sure. Valorant is very, very much Counter-Strike. It's quite slow moving. You can move even slower to mask your sound so you don't make any sound running. It has spray patterns you have to know to be decent at, and it relies on getting headshots or getting the jump on somebody to get any wins. It's a pretty standard terrorist counter-terrorist type thing. Like, this is literally Counter-Strike. It's a standard bomb thing where one side has the spike, they call it. They plant it in one of two sites, A or B, that they could choose. And the opposing team has to either kill them all so they can't, or disarm it after it's already been planted.
Wow, if I had not been paying attention, I would have thought you were just telling me about Counter-Strike straight up.
It is literally Counter-Strike to the point where it has a gun economy. It has a gun called the Operator, and it is the Op, basically. And within that gun economy is where you buy different skill sets or different skills for your guys you're playing, your operators or whatever. And they all seem to have similar-ish ones where they all have a grenade of some sort that is like a way to like control an area, like maybe like a smoke grenade or a grenade that like makes it so enemies don't want to pass through it because they'll be identified or they'll be tracked or they won't be able to see you. Or one of them has the ability to make like a smoke cloud that like she can see you in and she hides in. So if you pass through it, like she can just destroy you basically. They all have like a wall-ish ability to like put up a horizontal wall to either block people off or obstruct vision, or like one of them's like a firewall, another is one that's like toxic gases or whatever. And they usually have like a movement one as well. There's one character that is primarily movement ones where she has like a move that propels her high into the sky so she can get on top of like high boxes and hide from people or whatever, and like a dash ability, kind of like a tracer, but like you don't have unlimited you don't have unlimited uses. You actually buy uses. So some of them only have like the ability to use an item like once or twice, and you would buy that at the beginning with your gun setup and your shields or whatever. So it is very much Counter-Strike where you play operators with different skills that you can also buy along with guns.
So that's Counter-Strike meets Overwatch basically.
Kind of, but again, like the skills are bought, so you don't have free reign of them. Once you're out, you're out. And they all do have an like ultimate ability as well that is tailored to what type of character they are. I don't know. I think it's really, really cool, but it's definitely for people that like Counter-Strike and not people that like either Call of Duty or Overwatch. It is very slow. It is very tactical. If you don't like Counter-Strike, this isn't your game. It just isn't. Those other games are. So, yeah.
What if you like Overwatch and you were kind of into Siege?
No, still no.
Oh,
it is literally
okay.
Counter-Strike with the abilities as like ways to kind of augment how you play, not determine how you play.
What if you like Overwatch
Okay.
and you weren't super into like team fight tactics, but you like Animal Crossing and Borderlands, the writing bugs you? Is it if
this game? This
is Sean is literally describing himself. This isn't
Sean. Your game, Sean. I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you.
I'm sorry. Yeah. So like, as somebody who's been playing a lot of Call of Duty this week specifically, because I've been just trying to grind out some weapon stuff. It was really, really hard. I like Counter-Strike. It was really hard to go back to that gameplay style where you have to rely on getting headshots or the jump on somebody. And even then, if you just like spray improperly, you're fucked. They're going to kill you because people have been playing Counter-Strike
Sounds like
for
Get Good.
years. I guess the problem is that a lot of the people in the beta right now are Counter-Strike pros. So they are literally just cleaning up because they have been playing this game professionally for like 20 years. So I don't know, like, if I even want to bother until this game's out and other scrubs like me can play. Yeah.
Right on.
Yep, that's all I've been playing.
All right, John.
Animal Crossing.
Yeah, me too.
I'm done.
Oh,
Yeah, you just finished the life. You're done life.
I beat the game. It's done. It's
cool.
over.
Is this to do with eggs or something?
No. I mean, I literally
The eggs
I
never
paid off
end.
my.
They're everlasting. They're everywhere.
I mean, I've paid off my house. Like it all the upgrades are done.
Nice.
And
Why did you just like turnips? Was that the way?
turnips? Yep.
Yeah, I've kind of gotten to the point. I've done turnips twice now, obviously. And it's kind of I don't want to speed to the end. I might just not do turnips anymore.
Turnips are kind of annoying, honestly. Not gonna lie, because I had like my price on my island sucked. Absolutely sucked.
Yep.
And then Reese found someone who was streaming who had 761 or 21 per turnip.
That might be the highest number I've ever heard of. I've never heard of over
It was
700.
bonkers high. Yeah. So I got in line to get into their place, sold 1 bushel there. That got me 3 million bells. And then that person a couple days later had a 500 price island. So I hopped, or that was today actually. So today I flew there and sold the rest. So I got 7 million bells this week, paid off the last loan on the house. And then I'm like, okay, I've got 4 million bells in the bank. KK's already coming to the town. I like what my island looks like. And I've got all the villagers I want. What do I do now?
Can I ask a question as an outsider? How much is a usual price for turnips or whatever? If 700's high.
So you buy your turnips for a price between 90 and 110.
Okay.
But you have to buy them in bundles of 10. So basically 900 to 1,100 bells.
Okay.
And then the price for the turnips is random on your island, but it's under like a bunch of predetermined patterns that people have figured out.
Okay.
And it can range anywhere from like the lowest I've seen is 40.
Oh,
and the high.
Hi, I'm Sean Booker, proud owner of a 23.
Ooh.
Have had in the 30s on multiple occasions.
Yeah.
Ask me anything.
The highest I know of on my island was like 130.
Yeah,
and
I'd say somewhere between like 50 to like under 200 is kind of your average. It'll jump around unless you're in the pattern of it. Like it's gonna go crazy.
There is a pattern that will go crazy high.
So when my friend was saying something about like his was at 500 and something, that was good.
Yeah, that's really good.
Oh,
like,
okay.
If I see 500, I'm like, I want to
excellent.
sell. I want to jump on that.
Gotcha. Okay, I just didn't have any frame of reference, so.
Yeah, that 700 is the only 700 I've seen.
That's true. I didn't know that existed. I thought the record I'd seen people posting on forums was under 700. It was like high 600s. So
yeah, 660 was the expected to be one. Was expected to be the high. 660, but like we're not sure anymore, basically.
Yeah.
No,
going to those people's islands is miserable
because of how long it takes.
Yeah. Especially if they just like open call and you're coming in and you just can't move. Like, that's kind of partnered with it. So there's the one thing of like, I don't want to end up where you're kind of done. Like, I want this game to last a bit.
I'm going to be real. I didn't feel there was much more for me to do anyways, other than just pay off the loan.
Okay. I mean,
I was just like, okay, cool. So the only issue I have right now is I'm waiting for recipes on a random chance to show up. So I either leave the game running in the background and go do something else, or I could play something else on my Switch.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not telling you.
Like even right now, like last week I was playing Animal Crossing just to kind of putz around. This time I'm back to Voxelgram because I'm just like, nice. I don't feel the need to play Animal Crossing right now. Like I'll play it with my wife. I still like doing that, so I'm gonna log in every day still to check my wife. Borat to voice my wife. So I'll still like log in to like play to check the shops and like collect things and just like spruce up the house. But like otherwise for the actual like game cycle for it, I'm over it.
Right. I think it's just like different mindsets going at the game. Like, are you wanting to? Do you kind of need the carrot on the stick? Do you need to like be able to tie a bow on it? I would argue that Animal Crossing it really tries not to be that. Hence the whole like things are on day timers and whatnot. Like you can't do this until the whole day passes. Like it tries to really spread it out. And that's just how I'm choosing to play it. I'm not trying to like find my next game really quick. I want to be there for the holidays and stuff. That's how I played the GameCube one, like New Year's Eve. Here we go.
I'll log in for holidays. Like I'm definitely gonna be there for Egg Day just to see what the hell all this 12-day buildup was for.
It better be good.
It's for another egg furniture piece from what I've seen.
Yeah, it's not gonna be good. But anyways, my original point was so I did turnips again today. Got a whole bunch. And I don't even have enough creative ideas for what I want to do with all these rooms in my house. So like I'm gonna just kind of slow down on completing those ones. And I just like kind of customizing my island now. I like finding, cool things for my house or cool clothing to find, stuff like that. It's definitely much more like a social thing because like all my friends are playing it. It is crazy. So yeah, I'm definitely going at a slow burn on purpose.
Yeah, so I'm mainly just gonna like get it, play it to get like time event stuff, but otherwise like it's just check in and done. It's gonna be like a mobile game for me from here on out, basically.
Makes sense. Yeah.
All right, that's all you've been playing this week?
Pretty much. Like I said, I'm playing Voxelgram right now just to kind of putz through the last 25 puzzles. That's about it.
I've been wrapping up a bunch of stuff this week, just in time for Final Fantasy VII to show up delayed because of the virus. So I can't wait to have this whole weekend of reading on Twitter how much fun I'm not having. But I finished Doom Eternal. Finished that Borderlands DLC. Nothing really much else to add about that. New thing I played this week was Totally Reliable Delivery Service, which this game was free on Epic. It was on Game Pass, so it was pretty easy to get a hand of. This is Gang Beasts if they kind of added like a mission mode to it, like an actual don't just fight the other people.
I heard this is kind of like Human Fall Flat.
Yeah, which is kind of like Gang
Beasts.
So when I say Gang Beasts, I mean like it is super physics based, and the characters kind of control like socks full of sand that just like flail around. You're basically a sentient, wacky waving arm inflatable tube man. But in this game, you need to deliver packages. So you have to like pick up the package. You can raise it above your head, just like Gang Beasts, and you have to bring it to a certain spot, delivery spot. A lot of times it'll be like, hey, why don't you have to put it on a car and drive it over there. And to be fair, you actually don't have to put it on the vehicles a lot of the time if you can just walk it over there. I don't know why you would. I wouldn't go at this game with a like, I need to complete everything. This is serious business, since it is just the goofiest, wacky thing. You should really lean into that. For example, every like town and city and island you go to is like a joke on butts. Butts is a really like recurring gag in this game.
Okay.
But yeah, so you get vehicles, and the vehicles are all like manual controls, as in like you need to go to the front of the car, grab the joystick, and then move your arm to drive the vehicle. This is the same if you're in a helicopter and a plane. I think being on a helicopter is impossible to get any of those deliveries done, because the packages themselves also have physics. So when you like tilt the helicopter to go somewhere, the package just like falls out. And that's absolute nonsense. But it has co-op. The co-op is pretty rough. Even like when you're on the main menu, it straight up says like, hey, there's going to be a lot of like latency issues, so get ready for that. If you're hosting it, it's fine, but anyone else, it's pretty rough in a game that is already like this controls so difficultly. Adding a bit of like stuttering in there makes it just even harder. But like, it's just a giant physics sandbox, so there's a lot of fun to be have. Things exploding, lots of just goofy stuff you're delivering, like an ice block that just slides around. What else? There's like loop-de-loops. You can get rocket cars while you're trying to deliver stuff. Like I said, driving on the cars is pretty difficult because there's always like a kind of a bed to the truck, but stuff will fall out of the bed. So a lot of the times what we have to do is like, okay, you stand in the bed of the truck holding the package, I'll drive. and then at some point your car's probably going to flip over because they control so poorly. So it is just silly and wacky. But it was a good time. Like, I was laughing a lot, so that was a fun time. It was on Game Pass. That's how I ended up playing it. But like I said, they kind of dropped it for free in a bunch of places, and it has like a ton of DLC.
Cool.
So that's kind of their revenue model. But yeah, that was a totally reliable delivery service. And that was all I had been playing. So let's do some news.
All right, cool.
Hell yeah. So remember how E3 was going to just have a digital show thing? Yeah, they ain't doing that no more. So they got disrupted apparently because companies have been planning their own thing anyway. So they're just kind of like, you know what, fuck it. Like, you guys do your thing. We'll see you next year. And they actually have next year, June 15th to 17th, 2021. They're still planning for right now that they're going to be there next year, but we'll see.
Yeah, that's true. I'm kind of in a like, I'll believe it when I see it.
Yep.
Thing, because after this year, one sentiment I heard was, do you think they had to cancel this because at E3 they charge exhibitors to show up there? Like, they charge, Microsoft and Sony to come to E3 and be a part of that thing. Do you think they tried to charge people to be a part of their online presence?
That's
totally.
Yeah,
and
probably.
And everyone was like, "Are you joking?"
Yeah, that's hilarious.
No way to confirm that. I just heard that as one idea, and I bet they did. I bet they totally tried to charge people to be part of their digital E3, and everyone gave them politely gave them the middle finger and said, "We have a webcam. We can do this ourselves with Twitch."
Yep. All those companies have their own Twitch page and everything. Like, they could literally they could get one of their interns to hit start streaming and play a video. Right. It's fine.
And I mean, companies are already doing it. We're going to talk about Inside Xbox in a little bit. This is the second time they've done a like from home Xbox stream, talking announcements and whatnot. Like, they're fine.
Yeah. Yep.
But anyways, yeah, why don't we just talk about Inside Xbox? I just mentioned it. So there was an Inside Xbox stream this week where they talked about a few new announcements. Nothing really major. But I got the list of things that they did talk about that we can kind of run through. Forza Street, that like kind of budget Forza game that's on Windows, is coming to mobile.
Great. Okay.
I mean, if it has achievements, I'll download that on my phone. Sure. Why not? Human Fall Flat is getting some DLC. I actually might check that out because why not? If it's free, which I think it is for Game Pass subscribers, they said. I think so.
Makes sense.
They spent a good chunk of time talking about Gears Tactics.
Good. Glad to hear about that.
Which that comes out on PC at the end of the month. Console later this year, they said. They kind of talked about the story a bit. It's going to follow Kate's dad.
Oh,
which was kind of interesting. That's the main character, yeah. Kate being the main character of Gears 5. But I'm still kind of looking forward to that game. I'm curious. I like Tactics.
Yep.
I like Gears.
And there's nothing else coming out anymore, so why not?
That's true. We were recently talking, is like anything else coming out, and this is the only thing I could come up with.
Yeah.
I talked about more Sea of Thieves, which, okay, whatever. Hotline Miami is coming to the Xbox, which I was surprised to hear it wasn't on the Xbox.
Apparently it's already out there now, so.
Yep, that was like out now somewhat. They added some more games to xCloud, so if you have access to that, there's some more free games. Those are including Dragon Age Inquisition, Unraveled 2, and The Sims 4 are now on that.
Hey, cool.
What else did they talk about? They gave a release date. Minecraft Dungeons. It's coming May 26th. I might just play that since it's going to be on Game Pass. Yep. And I like co-op games.
I accidentally pre-installed it already, so.
How do you accidentally pre-install?
Because I thought it was out because it had a little thing there. So I was just like, yeah, I'll install that. And I clicked install.
Okay. And that was kind of the big stuff. Oh, Journey of the Savage Planet is on Game Pass now. They announced that a couple days ago. I'll probably be playing that this weekend.
Cool.
All right, moving on to some Stadia news. Out of nowhere.
It still exists.
It still exists. There's new news.
That's
There's
the news.
a Stadia update. You can still be a part of Stadia. They're giving away 2 free months to anyone. if you want 2 free months of Stadia Pro.
I do.
They kind of do the
I
whole
do
thing
want
of
that.
like, as everyone is staying home, we wanted to help out, and everyone's kind of giving away free stuff these days. So yeah, if you want to try out Stadia, you got 2 free months of Pro. You just need a Gmail email address, I think, and then you're good to go.
I can play that Guild game.
Yeah, you can play that Guilt game, which I don't recommend, but maybe you'll be into it. I do recommend SteamWorld Quest is on there.
I have
That game's
but
fantastic.
yeah, I do. I also recommend it.
Yeah. So there's a few. There's like a handful of games on Stadia Pro. Grid, Thumper. I don't know. I recommend SteamWorld Quest. You should play that one if you haven't played it. Now it's kind of free right now.
Yep.
All right, this is probably the biggest news this week. Sony out of nowhere. Actually, it was actually the day of the Inside Xbox event, which makes you think, were they like, wait, when's the live stream? All right, 2 hours earlier, let's drop this news. The DualSense. They announced the PS5's controller. I'm sure you guys have seen it, right?
I think it looks hideous.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't mind
it. Yeah, why?
I think my main issue with it is that I don't like the two-tone look that they went for. I think the major white with the minor black makes it look awful. It looks like a cheap third-party controller. I think if it was even with just it being a solid color or like less variance between the two colors, I think makes a big difference. There were some people did prototype like photoshops of it where they had it just in black or like light black and dark black, and it looked so much better.
Okay, so you're just design-wise, you don't like the colors, but
I don't like the colors.
The controller itself,
the controller itself probably fine, but it looks really weird with the current color scheme they went with.
Okay. What were you going to say, Paul?
I think it looks fine. I don't mind it. That's it.
Yeah, I'm on that side. I actually kind of like it because like we never kind of get this. It's always like one color, usually black, right?
Yeah.
Out of the box. So yeah. I'm for it. It's not my favorite two colors, but I'm sure that. Well, I was about to say I'm sure there'll be other color combinations in the future, but knowing Sony, there won't, and Xbox will have a bunch of cool colors. But hey, maybe that'll change in the next generation. Maybe they figured that out. Maybe PS5 will bring new colors to the controllers. They're waiting for next gen.
Sony remembers colors actually exist.
Yeah. We should talk about some of the differences though between the DualShock 4 and the DualSense.
In a microphone.
Yeah. What do you guys think?
Great.
Give me the option to turn it off either with a switch or just straight up in the menu of the system, and I'm fine with it.
Yo, these color things that people have photoshopped are dope.
Yes, I'm not wrong, right? Like they look way better.
Like even just the black one is like, yo, it's pretty good. Sorry, go on, Sean.
No, I was just gonna say with the microphone, I'm sure there will be a setting in the the settings similar to how, because I have the PlayStation Eye hooked up, and there's just a setting for like don't let that use the microphone. So I bet it'll be like that. They even kind of said in their like little blog post, it's great for some like short little sessions, but if you're gonna be like voice chatting for a while, you probably want a headset, which makes you think it's not a good microphone. But I mean, like, why not? It's not like I'll just use my good headset. So why not? If it's going to have more people getting in there, sure.
Sure.
So it's not called the DualShock, which I thought was pretty interesting since they've always gone with DualShock. The reason they're calling it DualSense is because of the sense of touch, because it has haptic feedback, which is basically just HD rumble from the Switch.
Yep.
That's about the main change that they're really focusing on is the improved rumble. The triggers are going to have rumble, which the Xbox One triggers had rumble, and those are pretty cool.
Okay.
They have a create button instead of a share button. So they're kind of doubling down on what you can kind of create and share. They're going to focus on that a bit more.
Okay.
I'm trying to think what else is really new about it. The light bar is on the sides of the touchpad.
Kind of makes more sense, honestly.
I'm kind of surprised they kept the touchpad.
Yeah, me too.
I figure at this point, well, because It makes sense because there's going to be backwards compatible with PS4, right?
Well, I
Oh,
assumed
yeah,
they
I
would
guess so.
just support the PS4 controllers since they're Bluetooth.
I mean, yeah, but at the same time, like, you don't want to make your customer have to go out and buy another controller.
Well, I figured they could have easily, like, because for the most part, like, they could say, like, it supports all games except, like, a couple that use it as, like, a swipe. Otherwise, most of the time, it's just, like, it's like a button press instead of pause.
And there's a fair amount of games that use it as two separate buttons, like the left side and the right side are separate
True.
buttons.
I hate that.
Right. And I could see
I'm
them
not saying it's a
just
good feature. I'm just saying it's there.
True.
Right. I would have assumed they would have just mapped those to two other buttons in some way, and then they've solved that problem. That's my guess. I don't know. Yeah, that was probably the biggest thing. It's a lot curvier than the DualShock 4. I don't know.
Yeah, they went for new.
USB-C. That's good.
It is nice to see a change, considering that I feel the jump between 1, 2, 3, and 4 aren't all that different. So it is nice to see something that at least looks visibly different.
I think 4 was a jump. That added the touchpad as well. I think 4 was a jump.
Like that was the biggest jump, but it still like aesthetically was the same shape. Like this at least looks like it has a slightly different shape.
I like that it is a jump at all, since the Series X controller is not a change for the most part.
It's really not. Yeah.
I mean, I already liked that controller a lot, so I'm fine with it. But it's just not very exciting just to have a bunch of more controllers look the same. This is arguably much more exciting because it's different. USB-C. I don't know, where do you guys land on the AA's versus rechargeable battery?
Well, I have a PS4 controller that the battery died in and I can never use again. And so I'm kind of pissed about that.
I like the option to use both, so I like the battery ones and then buying like usually a rechargeable battery for it.
Yeah, I mean that's the way to go. Is you get a rechargeable AA and you have the best of both worlds. But yeah. To John's problem, that was kind of the notorious thing, is if those batteries do go and that could be the thing that usually went first, you can't use the controller, and that sucks.
Like I can't even use it plugged in, which is frustrating.
Yep.
It's just a useless hunk of plastic.
I do like that it is USB-C though, and not micro USB, because fuck micro USB.
Yeah, kind of.
I am kind of curious that with the light bar on the sides, I'm wondering if it's still going to be on the like top of it that faces the TV, because the PlayStation Eye looks at that for VR games.
Ooh.
And looking at this, like, they do have a shot that you can kind of see the top, but you can't really see the light underneath it. And even if there is some light coming out of there, it's definitely a lot smaller than the bar right now. So I'm kind of curious what that's going to be like, or if maybe there's something on the internal that's just going to like connect better, and they don't need to be having it look with the camera. I don't know. But yeah, then there's the new controller. And then some smaller stuff. Disco Elysium is coming to Switch. I was kind of surprised to hear this, but as someone who hasn't played Disco Elysium yet and wants to, yeah, maybe I'll just play the Switch version.
Sure, why not?
According to the developers, it's going to happen soon. And that's basically kind of the news there.
Okay. Tell me about this other thing. What the hell is going on?
Yeah. John, did you look into this Cooking Mama thing?
Yes. This is a thing. This is quite the thing. Where the fuck do I even begin? So there is a new Cooking Mama game out, sort of. It came out and then immediately got removed from shelves and also removed from the eShop.
Okay.
This is on the Switch.
This is on the Switch. Yes, Cooking Mama Cookstar. It was supposed to come out the same day as Animal Crossing and Doom Eternal. At least that was the speculation. It was supposed to be like somewhere in March. And then it just kind of, no one heard hide nor hair of it. Shops got it in, but they were all small quantities, and then just no one saw anything again. The game apparently currently overheats switches and or drains batteries super fast on the Switch. Apparently there's a lawsuit going on between the devs and the license holders. There's just like a huge mess There was talks that it was actually mining cryptocurrency while the game was running. That's why it has an always online requirement on the game.
Right.
It's just
so
like,
to expand on that specific part, because I kind of read like these 2 articles I've linked here that kind of go a pretty deep dive, one of which includes an interview with the developer. I guess when it was marketed, the person who was marketing it just threw that it was a crypto mining game in there just to kind of generate buzz because investors would want to hear that.
Oh,
Yeah.
fuck.
Like everything was a crypto mining thing. The developer said
Yeah.
it is not crypto mining. But a lot of people kind of blew up saying like, yo, this thing is overheating my Switch, probably because it's mining crypto while I'm playing it. The developer said that has never been the case. It's just really unpolished, and the way on like the Unreal or maybe it was Unity.
It's Unity.
It was being run. It was just not a very good streamlined version of that.
It was new devs, their first time making a game. Apparently, I think they were mobile devs. Otherwise, they used Unity, and they whatever they did for optimizing. Either was the cryptocurrency thing. Oh no. So it wasn't that it had cryptocurrency. People just assumed that it had blockchain technology in it. So they were trying an idea where they could make each person's like game or slightly different based on actual like blockchain tagging to see what version of the game you had essentially. But that got cut out early, and as a result of poor optimization, it actually just destroys the battery on the Switch. Like it just does a number on it. So right now, no one knows if this game is going to be re-released or if that initial run of the game that's it. Because no one can get it digital at the moment, and any shops now seem to be sold out of the physical copies.
It also sounds like people aren't 100% sure who made this game / is the publisher, developer, like who has the rights to it.
There's 3 studios listed on the game, and everyone's been kind of cagey about which one actually made it.
Yeah, and it sounds like a lot of it's like, they'll be like, this studio's on the box, but it's not on their website, and they don't mention it. But in the game, on the menu, they mention this studio and this studio. Like it's a whole bunch of like, who's actually behind this game? That's one of the questions, and another one of the questions is like, who even holds the IP rights? Because apparently, the original Cooking Mama developers called Office something, Office Create, at some point basically said, no, don't make this game. But then the publishers like went ahead and did make the game, and then it like that's part of the reason why it got pulled. Is there's like we told
lawsuit.
you not to make this game. So there's a whole bunch of just weird stuff going around. I think it's also funny that it is a Cooking Mama game, of all things.
Of all things that have like the biggest controversy in gaming so far this year, it's Cooking Mama.
Yeah. So if you want to kind of get into the weeds on what's going on, there's a pretty good article over on IGN about it. That's the one I kind of read through. Again, this is Cooking Mama Cookstar. Just a weird game news story.
Yeah. I shockingly got a copy of it.
Wow.
Nice.
EB had it on their website to order. I got it mailed to my house. It arrived today.
Nice. Are you gonna like never open that thing as like a weird?
It's already open and installed on my Switch.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does it make your Switch run?
I do expect. I haven't run it yet. I do expect it to be a collector's piece. I do. If it does not get re-released, I do expect that thing to go up in price like ridiculous.
I have seen the prices
are already going for
up.
pretty crazy on eBay. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a weird thing to just own.
Yeah.
There's a story behind that for sure.
Yep, that's a cool one.
All right, that's going to do it for news. Let's do some questions. If you want to send in questions for the show, it's topdownperspective@gmail.com, at TDP Podcast on Twitter, the Discord channel, or John's P.O. Box. I will read this first one from Newtfield. Is there a game that you were looking forward to that because of this epidemic was either canceled or delayed?
I wanted to see what Last of Us Part 2 was like.
I mean, that's gonna be the big one. I feel for people is just that was the one of the few where they said straight up like this, we're getting delayed and we don't know when because of this.
Yep.
I feel like everything else is still currently coming out. It's just that they like if you're only looking for the physical copies like I am, it's gonna be harder to get.
Yeah, it's a rough time to be you for sure. For collecting.
But like for standard consumers, you don't have much to worry about. Like Last of Us is the only like big AAA that's got that issue so far. And if we're lucky, it will be the only one affected by it.
Yep.
I bet there's more coming.
Yep, I agree.
Like there has to be, right?
If this goes long enough that it actually affects the release of the Series X and the PS5, then yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I didn't.
I
even
don't
consider
think
that.
that's gonna happen, but
I think
who knows?
that could happen. I think it honestly could. It just depends on if there's like a resurgence of the virus.
I mean, we have no way plateaued yet, so
No,
a resurgence. We're not even at that point yet.
but I mean more so. I'm more so referring to like place like China with where production for a lot of these things is coming from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My answer would have been Last of Us 2 for sure. I was
Yes.
excited for that. And that would have been next month.
Yep. Suku writes in and says, "Does Mewtwo have teeth?" Sean, this is your favorite Temtem, so
my favorite Temtem Mewtwo. Yeah, everyone knows that it was my starter Temtem.
Yeah,
can do all the cool psychic attacks, weak to lightning.
and
you know how it goes.
Everything else, yeah.
Someone then posted a screenshot from Detective Pikachu showing that Mewtwo does have teeth. I would have guessed no, but that screenshot, he has teeth.
I'm just going to Google Mewtwo teeth.
No, don't do that, man. Safe search. Put that on fast.
That is a safe search category, I think.
There's a lot of weird pictures here.
Well, Paul, you've done the research. Does Mewtwo have teeth?
I don't know.
John?
I'm going to say yes.
I guess the question is, should Mewtwo have teeth?
Probably. What if he wants to eat a tasty burger?
I feel like a burger.
Let Mewtwo eat a tasty burger.
Yeah, that's true. Couldn't he just mash it up with his mind?
I mean, yes.
But like, what if he wants to eat a carrot?
Oh, shit.
Even harder.
Baby food.
Baby food.
Mewtwo's just really into baby food.
I got
next question comes to us from Hebrew Lantern. What are some of your favorite conspiracies, video game and non?
Polybius.
Yes, that's a strong one.
That's a great one.
The Phantom is another strong one.
You guys should say what the conspiracies are.
So Polybius was an unmarked, well, according to lore or whatever, in Portland, Oregon, in an arcade. It was an unmarked arcade cabinet where kids that played it would go missing shortly after they got addicted to it, and Men in Black came to service it often.
Yeah, so it was said to be like a CIA or FBI,
like an MK Ultra
mind control testing. Yeah,
yeah.
The Phantom was a Phantom video game console. It was supposed to be like this physical box that was it was basically the equivalent of like a Steam box, but in like late 90s, early 2000s. And it looked like it had all this ridiculous potential. And then the developers just said it was going to come out for about like 8 years or something like that. Like it was the biggest piece of vaporware for gaming for the longest time. So not as much a conspiracy theory, more just like a crazy, like unheard of product.
I don't have one. I looked some up and I couldn't think of really come up with anything.
What about non-video game?
Cool. Yeah,
lizard people are usually like funny to me. I really like lizard people ones. Mainly that oh my god, what's his name? The Facebook guy. I can't remember his name now.
Mark Zuckerberg?
Yeah, Zuckerberg, how he's a reptile, and then it usually follows a picture of him looking like a robot or a reptile. It's usually pretty good.
Yeah, fluoride makes you gay. That's always pretty funny.
Yep. Turning the frogs gay.
Yeah.
That's a pretty funny one.
There's a theory going around right now that 5G causes coronavirus. Like Woody Harrelson is on this. Like, and what?
I hadn't heard about Woody Harrelson being on this. James Woods, I'd heard being in on it.
Apparently a few celebrities are.
James Woods is on fucking everything. Nobody listens to that guy anymore.
Which is why I wasn't shocked about that.
Yeah. Did you see there's like a list of like these all like correlate to different technologies or whatever? Spanish flu, start of the radio. 3G, the bird flu or whatever. And they kind of match up a little bit, but like only if you're crazy. It's really good.
Right. Sure.
Yeah, it's really good.
Uh, VGC Kenny writes, with Persona 5 Royal out, and from what I've seen of my roommate playing it, it looks better than the base game in a lot of ways. I have a question. Is there any value in a base game if the updated re-release is better?
I'm going to give you the non-collector edition or answer. No, there isn't at all.
Ooh.
Yeah, no, he's 100% right. The only people who care about getting the base version would be someone like me, someone who collects physical copies of games. There's no, unless like they've literally changed things so much and it's so drastic a change that's worth going back to, and there's so few examples of that. I can only think of one.
What's that?
Final Fantasy 14. And even then, you can't play the base version. And I guess 15 also had like an entire chapter redone because of a patch. Forgot about that. But yeah, otherwise, like, it's just play the newer version.
Yeah, I think I'm there too.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think of any reason why I'd want to go back.
Speedrunners,
a good point. That's a very valid point. But like, there's so many few cases, is what we're saying. The average consumer doesn't need to play the original version unless you can only get it because it's cheaper. Like, I'm sure the base version of Persona 5 is probably going for like $30 right now if you can find it, versus the 60 for Royal.
That's legit, actually. The base game being cheaper, or like a cheaper way, is definitely usually something, at least. But I mean, if you can afford a new game, you should probably just get the new one, I guess. Best Feeder NA says, if you had to eliminate either all of Nintendo's, Microsoft, or Sony's systems and game libraries from history, which would you pick and why? This is a no-brainer for me. Microsoft, 100%.
Yeah, I think it's easy. Microsoft. As someone who loves my Xbox.
From their system, yeah. If we had to take every game that was on their system, then yeah, they would have.
But it's only because Microsoft is like the newest out of these.
Yeah, theirs is the smallest of the three.
Well, and also just because like since Nintendo and Sony were there for so long, they established so much.
This is an important distinction we have to make here. Are we talking Microsoft consoles or Microsoft period? Because that would count PC. For this argument's sake, I'm saying consoles.
I took it as consoles. They did 2 other consoles, so yeah.
Yeah, so I'm gonna say Microsoft simply because it's the smallest number.
Yep.
Yeah, and like because Nintendo and Sony just have so much more history before that. It'd be like they established so much, and you'd be getting rid of such like key tentpoles.
Who's the weirdo that picks Nintendo? Because I could see somebody just being like, I don't care about Sony.
Someone who just hates Nintendo.
I guess.
I don't think anyone. That's the thing is like
so many people hate Nintendo. What are you talking about?
Who hates Nintendo?
Have you not been on the internet before?
Are you talking like a Sega kid? That guy doesn't even have a console anymore.
Sega themselves.
I did see a pretty good tweet this week. It was. What was it? It was like it was a Twitter account I followed that's like save you a click, and the headline was the Mario Lego already has its first negative review, and it doesn't come out till August, right? So the save you the click was someone gave it a bad review because they wanted it to be Sega Lego.
Hilarious. That's pretty good.
That was very funny. Yeah, the thing is, I don't think anyone says Nintendo because like. Since they're so focused on family games and like being able to be appealing to kids, like everyone grows up with Nintendo games. Right?
Yeah, and like again, they've got the longest history out of the 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nintendo's like there's no way I could do Nintendo. And then Sony's like the second closest.
You do Nintendo Microsoft. If you're just a spiteful person. That's why.
I don't get that.
Just like, I hate video games or whatever. Erase history. It's gone.
It's equivalent of been like, all cartoons are bad.
Yeah.
They should stop making cartoons. It's like, there's no way you didn't grow up watching cartoons.
Yeah.
Hate them.
No fun for me. Linebeck says, what is a game that people have thought for some reason you dislike that you actually like?
Mario Sunshine. Because I don't like 3D Mario games generally, and that's usually the one people all hate, and that's one I generally like.
I'm not a big
I hate
subject.
every video game, so I don't have an answer.
That's
Fair.
true. John's
Everyone's
known
usually
for that.
right if they think I hate a game.
Yeah.
Well, you have the Twitch account, the Game Hater,
Exactly. That's
the
me.
Game Hater 69, as it says on your Twitter handle. I don't think I have an answer for this one. I don't think anyone's pegged me for that.
People
Nope.
think that you dislike that you actually like.
I legit can't think of anything because like I had a weird situation the other day where like people thought I loved a game and I'm just like, no, it's all right.
Yeah, I can think of the
And-
other way around for you especially.
For me.
That, like, people probably think that you hate that you're just like, no, I kind of like it or whatever. Like, I'm pretty sure Superman 64 is legit that, right? For you.
It's just a fucking just a hot mess. I enjoy
It's a
how
bad
much of a hot
game.
mess it is.
Yeah, that's the thing.
It's
is that
an
you
awful
enjoy
game.
You enjoy like the train wreck games a lot. So I can see it. Actually, that's the next question. Best Feeder says, what's a game people have thought you for some reason you like that you actually dislike? There you go. There's that answer.
There it is. Literally everything. Literally everything.
Zelda 1. I really don't like that game.
I don't have an answer for this one either.
Mario 64, I think it's just because it's been made obsolete by all the other games.
You're saying you'd actually dislike Mario 64?
I don't like playing Mario 64 anymore, primarily because I think it's got Mario 1 syndrome. Like it's outdone by every other game. Like I don't like going back to Mario 1 because there's better 2D Marios.
Sure, I can see that. I don't really like Mario 1 either. I just don't enjoy how it plays.
Oh, the easy one, Resident Evil 4. People think because I like that series that I like that one, and I don't like that one very much.
So that's why you thought you'd be okay with. I was wondering about that. I was like, why did you say you'd be okay with a remake of 4? That I feel like that doesn't need a remake.
There's no way they are not remaking Resident Evil 4. Are you kidding me?
It doesn't need one. Like that was where they literally changed the gameplay to what it is now.
There's absolutely no way they are.
They also fucking re-release that game every time they release every other Resident Evil game.
They're going to announce the Resident Evil 4 remake, and people are going to lose their mind.
Literally,
they are
like 4, 5, and 6 are going to end up on like the PS5 and Xbox One. It's just going to happen. Or Xbox One X. They're just going to like blink and be there.
As soon as they
you did it. They tricked you.
As soon as they remake 6,
Xbox.
We gotta go back. We gotta go back.
God damn it. We never even did the Ada stuff. I don't know what happens to Ada. I don't know if I care enough to find out. I don't know if I even remember the plot anymore of that game.
Fuck Ada. Who cares?
Ada has a grappling gun. That's pretty much all you need to know.
Yep.
That's going to do it for questions. If you want to send in questions next week, it's topdownperspective@gmail.com, at TDP Podcast on Twitter, the Discord channel, or John's P.O. Box. What is your game of the week?
3.
Animal Crossing, I guess.
Yeah, I'm going to give it Animal Crossing again. That's still everything I'm doing. All right. If you are a Blue Eyes patron, tomorrow I'll be putting up the submission thread. So submit a game for us to add to the poll next week. Other than that,
we've called it that tier.
That's what the people chose. Because as you can see, when they submit it, sometimes they win. As we are currently right now playing through Jimmy and the Pulsating Mass. So get excited for that at the end of the month. But we will see you guys next week. Later.
Bye, everybody.